What it is, what it be, what it do. Yo, it is Criminally Sapient back at it again with another YouTube podcast.
Like and subscribe within 13 seconds or else your whole family will disappear.
In today's episode, we're going to be discussing the Mitsuki Yamamoto case. He was born May 2nd, 1963 in Yokohama, Japan. His mother was killed in a mechanical factory accident when he was 4, leaving his father alone to provide for Mitsuki.
Apart from school, Mitsuki spent most of his time inside of his father's noodle shop. His father used to be a factory worker until his wife's death. He couldn't stand to work in that same factory in those same conditions that killed his wife. It wasn't worth risking his son living his whole entire life with no parents at all. He was still very skilled with mechanical parts, though, as his job in the factory was making and assembling animatronic parts and constructing blueprints.
The noodle shop was fairly large. They sold a variety of dishes to keep the customers coming. The main appeal of the restaurant was the 4 animatronic characters that sang and danced, which were made by Mitsuki's father, Yoshida Yamamoto.
As a kid, Mitsuki was taught a lot about animatronics and how they were made. He tinkered with mechanical parts his whole entire life. He did this all alongside his schooling. He was very adamant on getting good grades and studying very hard in school. He planned to attend college, but he wasn't so sure what he would pursue. All of his plans changed, though, when his father died over the summer after his senior year of high school. All of his plans were canceled, and after the funeral, he took ownership of his father's noodle shop. He studied his father's blueprints and perfected his mechanical skills in order to keep the restaurant running. Well, restaurant starts booming because Mitsuki did all this hard work with his father's blueprints, and he picked up a ton of skills as he picked at and prodded at all the animatronic works that he had made in the past. He perfected all of them, and he worked without trouble for 5 or so years due to his diligence early on. He successfully runs his noodle shop in those 5 years, but he starts getting extremely depressed because of his dad's passing. So he starts dipping his toes into some drugs. Toes. Yes, I said toes. He doesn't want to feel this pain, this depression any longer, and he so desperately wants to find something to take his mind off of these intrusively dark thoughts. He says, and I quote, I don't want to run this noodle shop for the rest of my life. I'm not having fun anymore. I have no one. Everyone left me and I have nothing to live for. I don't care what happens to me anymore. Too real, Mitsuki. Sometimes I feel the same exact way. I'm not gonna lie, I feel that way right now. But that's not the point. He dabbles straight up into marijuana, the king of gateway drugs. King, queen, prince, princess, a whole shebang, right? He gradually works himself up to bigger, yes, bigger, physically larger, and more harmful drugs. He finds a friend, no longer a gamer, I see, that happens to sell drugs. That includes methamphetamine. Walter White reference, Breaking Bad, yeah. He lights
I am the
up
one who
his.
knocked.
Oh,
Oh,
you're super silly. He lights up his bowl. I'm not. What? Okay, and then he tries meth for the first time. Cause yeah, his bowl and stuff like that. I know it's like not even like really bad. All right. Well, it is really bad. Not that it's not even. All right. So then he instantly gets extremely hooked on. Really hooked on this methamphetamine. Jesse Pinkman boof, bruh. Straight up boofed on this stuff, right? And
poof.
there's nothing he can do about it. He can't get off of it. And that was like, it was basically because whenever he first tried it, uh, he didn't really like. He felt really good. He didn't get any of the negative side effects or the symptoms of methamphetamine the first time. So he went at it again, and then again, and then again, and then again, and again, and again.
Oh my god!
And then eventually, he starts noticing the side effects. His teeth start to yellow. He starts smelling really bad. Uh, even though he never took showers in the first place, like me, he started smelling worse because that's just what meth does to you. He tries to wean himself off of the drug, but the withdrawals are just too much for him to handle, and so he relapses. He has a terrible high one night after he experiences methamphetamine withdrawals, and he becomes super paranoid and just will not stop hallucinating. His hands turn to feet, his feet turns to hands, stuff like that. Um, he experiences this humongous, bruh, meth psychosis. I know, really sad. And his thoughts become distorted, and it's hard for him to know what's real and what isn't.
Oh my God!
Nearly a year has passed since then, and Mitsuki gains interest in death and the human body. And I know it might sound kind of sudden, but that's how all of these things go. All of these murderous sapients, they lie dormant within the psyche for so long, and they just explode out of nowhere. One night in his noodle shop, there is a kid's birthday party. He sees four kids. They're doing the pee pee dance. They need to use the bathroom, and he takes them. He
Creepy dance.
he takes them to the back room, sit at the bathroom, and he kills them, all four of them, just like that. And he stuffs them into the four original gangster animatronic suits that his father made, that he tinkered with and he upgraded. The kids slash animatronics, they mess with him and they try to scare him in his hallucinations. And he tries to survive throughout the night without being killed by them.
What does
He
he do to survive throughout the night?
he sits in his corner office with these two doors, mechanical doors that open and shut. They have lights on each side. He has a monitor with security cameras that he looks at to see the location of the four animatronics. And as they slowly try to progress towards him, he can monitor them. And if they get too close, then he can shine a light out his door. And if he sees one, he can just shut the door on them. But he has to be careful because he might run out of power. Um,
Oh. Do you imagine being in his position? You know,
yeah, that would be extremely scary. And I don't know what I would
seeing all
do.
these things.
Yeah. He
Could not be fun.
Mitsuki
Sorry.
struggles to understand what he's done. He just can't cope with what he's done. A skill issue. So Mitsuki hides inside of a spring lock suit because he starts seeing hallucinations of the kids' ghosts. They're chasing him. They're following him. They won't let him leave his noodle shop. They're trying to get revenge for their deaths, trying to avenge themselves. So he hides in a spring lock suit, and he finds out that the spring lock suit is really scary for these kids, and the kids start to back off. He gets all happy and giddy and starts to jump up and down, and he realizes that the ceiling is leaking some weird fluid. It's thick, moist, greasy fluid, I think. I think that's how
Dude,
he would
was it like
describe it.
blood or something?
I'm not so sure, but it was enough to trigger the spring lock system in his suit. And so every single mechanical wire and flap and spring and lock that was inside of his suit crushed in on his body, and he
Ooh.
experiences a very agonizing, slow, and painful death. And as
Jeez.
he's dying, he realizes that he's just been on drugs this whole time. His high was fading by then. All of the endorphins his brain was flooding into his body knocked out the rest of this high, and he realized that, and he just had this feeling that nearly a year had passed since he had gotten interested in death and the human anatomy, but in reality, it was barely minutes. He's been high this entire time. He's been hallucinating. The dead kids possessing the animatronics. He says, and I quote again, he did say this, by the way. Are the kids
Can't
real?
confirm.
How could I prove that they're real or fake? What has been happening if I haven't been seeing the dead kids? Who have I been seeing?
Mm.
This is
I
why
remember seeing this.
In the news articles
A while back, and I think they called this like the Bite of 87 or something.
Bite of
Yeah.
87. Oh, I think I remember seeing that too.
Yeah,
Yes,
crazy night. Crazy night.
absolutely crazy. I think
An
there's
unlucky
this
guy.
there's this one news anchor that was very shocked um,
Mm.
about this. Let me see if I can find it. Let me pull up the news anchor.
Anyway, first jump here. Was that the bite of 87? Was that the bite of 87? Let me try the limb. Was that the bite of 87?
As you can see, he was absolutely and completely distraught at the idea of such a thing occurring. The bite of 87? That is
Was that the
wild.
Bite of 87?
You can't see me right now, but I'm actually climbing on the walls and the ceiling.
No, wait, no, no.
Remember, kids, stay in school and don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
Absolutely.
Get help.
Yeah,
Never be scared to get help. Ever.
absolutely.
And watch Markiplier.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, absolutely.
Could you... Excuse me?
No, I'm sorry.
What's
Excuse me.
that?
Excuse me. Sorry.
What's that?
Continue.
I just... Could you just like, I don't know, just really imagine what it'd be like in his like position, you know? Imagine how scary that is.
We could
It's
meet up
four
like
kids that haunt you.
next Saturday and take a bunch of meth and stuff and buy a spring luck suit and we could recreate it. I'll be
Yeah, you know a guy who sells meth?
I'll be
Walter?
I'll I'll be I'll be the four little kids to your Mitsuki Yamamoto.
You're gonna be all four of them at the same time?
Yeah,
It's pretty sick.
I got that dog in me.
What if I told you that dog has me in him?
Bite slip.
What? What?
Cranks that soldier boy.
It's like this like out of the earth exploding in the back and it's like it's over, Soldier Boy didn't tell him.
Real and true.
True and real.
Well, this episode of Criminally Sapient was absolutely fantastical. We're so glad that you could join us. But always remember,
Like and subscribe within 13 seconds or else your whole family will disappear.
that'll be all from us, guys. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace out.